In the last session, we learnt about communication, why communication is important to mediation and particularly conflict resolution, why a mediator has to know about communication, because finally the mediator is dealing with two human beings, where the mediator has to start making communication, and through his effective communication, the mediator builds and restores the lost communication between the two disputants. Now we'll go further on that. What are the skills, techniques which are required for a mediator to have up his sleeves to make the mediation more effective, the communication more effective? Firstly, we'll go to paraphrasing, a technique which is used by the mediator in the process of mediation between the parties, and through paraphrasing he is able to restore or bring back communication for the benefit of the party A as also the opposite party, we call it as party B. Please note there are two processes in mediation. It is called joint session, where all the disputants to the party are present before the mediator, where the mediator sits in a center of the room on the table with the two disputants sitting opposite to each other, equidistant from the mediator. They will be facing each other, but they will be looking at the mediator. If there are more than two, the rest of them will be sitting on either side, depending on which side they would like to sit. It cannot be less than two. There has to be two, because the dispute has to be there, means obviously there have to be two persons. All throughout, it is a mediator who will be under check. Mediator has to act as per the instructions of the party. He is the controller of the process. Therefore, to see that the parties are effectively making use of the mediation, he has to have effective communication skills, and paraphrasing is the first amongst it. What is paraphrasing? It is very simple. Party A, maybe in a joint session or in a private session where one party is only there, other party is outside, the mediator listens to the party. I repeat, mediator is listening to the party. The statement made by the party is patiently listened by the mediator all throughout without interruption. Maybe at a time when there is a pause, or there is a time when he stops for breath, mediator will reply to the party what he has already said before him. It is called as paraphrasing because it could be one para of his statement. Phrase it. So mediator attentively listens to the statement of party. At a given point, maybe few lines, 5 lines to 10 lines, he gives a pause to the party and says, Mr. A, let me see whether I have understood you rightly. I'll repeat what you have said. He repeats the same thing what the party had said. This is paraphrasing. The party may continue further with the further part of his statement. Then again, after some time, the mediator replies to the party by paraphrasing that portion of the statement. So the process of paraphrasing is here before you. Now, method of paraphrase is also here before you. Why this paraphrase? The party who is before you, or the parties before you, they need to know who is the mediator. What are his roles here? What is that he is doing here? Is he a judge? Is he a police officer? Is he an interrogator? No, you have to give an impression that you are with him to understand. You are none of them. You are a neutral third party meant for them to understand their conflict, they understand their pulse. So by doing constant paraphrasing, the party gets a feeling that here is a man, a mediator, who is trying to understand me and is also acknowledging as to what he has understood. That makes the party A very comfortable that, here is a friend of mine who is here to help me and he is doing paraphrasing. He may not know that it is paraphrasing. He is here to understand me and is also confirming as to what he has understood. That builds the confidence in the party also and builds the rapport between the mediator and the party. Once the paraphrasing is done with party A, if it is a joint session, the same way party B also will be doing with the party B also the mediator will be doing the paraphrasing. So paraphrasing is not after both the parties have completed their statement. Paraphrasing is in between the statements and after the completion of the party A before going to party B. It also helps the opposite party because sometimes in the process of paraphrase, mediator would have cleared quite a few of the doubts of the party, which probably had not been expressed clearly by the party when he is making the statement. Whereas when the mediator makes a neutral paraphrase, neutrally, it gives clarity to the other party who is sitting on the opposite side. So this is one of the basic important tip or technique which is required for the mediator to build and restore the confidence in the system of mediation, to build that rapport between the parties, and also in the process of mediation. Now, we'll go to the second one, restating. What is restating? Party states, that is to say, party makes a statement. Party may be making a statement which may be about 15 minutes, 10 minutes. He is saying something about as to why he is in the conflict, why he is in the mediation, why is he here and what is he that he is expecting from the mediation. So he is making a statement. Restating is nothing but again a paraphrasing, but here the difference is the mediator is not intervening or stopping the party in between. He is completely allowing the party to make the statement. The party makes the complete statement. Mediator actively listens to the party, particularly party A. Restating is usually done in a joint session, therefore there will be obviously more than one party, namely the two parties or more than two parties. After the completion of the party A's statement fully, if the mediator has any clarification, he clarifies that also because he has to get the clarity from party A. Once the party A has completed and the clarification is over, the mediator restates to the party, Mr. A, I have heard you so far. Please let me see whether I have understood it rightly. I'll repeat what you have said. Please correct me if I am wrong. If I am right, you please confirm me. This is restating. I repeat, restating is once at a time, whereas paraphrasing could be in between at different stances. The very important part of this is mediator should be actively listening and complete listening. He has to physically and mentally present in the place. He cannot be having a wandering mind where he is elsewhere and is not giving the attention to the party. Because if he has not attentively heard the party, then he will not be able to make the restatement. In times we have seen, party says something verbally, bodily expresses something else. Mediator has to keep in mind both this, that is to say, verbal and non-verbal. In some cases, it could be that, the party is introvert, he is not able to express, but he will be expressing in his body language. So mediators to keep all this in mind and express his emotion and also the verbal statement back to the party, and that is called as restating. Now, question is, party has made a statement. Mediator is making the restatement. Party has made a statement for about 15 minutes uninterrupted. Mediator has heard it uninterrupted for 15 minutes. Whether the mediator has to repeat the same for the next 15 minutes? No. Restatement is a concise statement capturing the entire information what he has received from the party A's statement. It could be that the party A, in emotion or in anxiety or frustration and in anger, has said certain things repeatedly, sometimes which may not be required to that context. But mediator actively listens and comprehends it and puts it concisely, maybe in 2 minutes, the entire statement in his own words, and probably also some words which are repeatedly used by the party to just to satisfy him that he has understood him. So the restatement is a concise statement of the party which the mediator reiterates by way of restatement, giving importance to the essence of the message and also giving importance to the emotions of the party. This is called as effective restating. Once the restatement is done, he again confirms to the party A, Mr. Party A, I have heard you and I have made this restatement. Do you think that I'm right? Is anything to be clarified? If you have done it effectively, mostly the answer is, sir, you understood me perfectly. Even the party sometimes may feel, oh, I didn't properly put it. I think the mediator has understood me better than what I had expressed to him. This is the effect of effective restatement. Once the restatement is done and it is accurate and confirmed, it also helps the party B who is sitting on the other side to understand the perception of party A. He may also have not known it before, which is very common in Indian litigation. But by the mediator doing this, it helps party B too, where he gets the entire concise statement of the party A, and he will be also able to comprehend as to what he should reply. Maybe after the restatement, his reply would also narrow down to lesser time as compared to what he would be thinking otherwise, because he knows that this is all relevant here. What else had been said by party A is not relevant, and therefore let me also confine my statement to limited what is required. The other advantage of restating is sometimes some parties have the habit of saying repeatedly the same thing because they think that the person, namely the mediator, is not able to understand. He has not understood. He is not acknowledging. He is keeping quiet. By once restating, he gets a confidence in the mediator, and probably the repetitions may also come down. This is another great advantage of restating, which means it saves a lot of time. This is about restating, which I have said. Very important is restatement is usually done in a joint session when there are two parties, because it narrows down, it focuses the communication, and it is a very effective skill which is used in the mediation. Now we will go to the another important skill which is again used by the mediator. It is called as reflecting. What do you mean by reflecting? Mirror reflects. Mediator also reflects the expression of the party. So please note, party says, mediator reflects. Mediator reflects certain aspect of the party's statement. In other words, mediator concentrates on the emotions, feelings, pain, anger, anxiety, frustration, which are expressed in his statement. And the mediator replies to that by saying the same thing by way of restatement, focusing only on the said emotion, feeling, pain, anger, whatever it is. So reflecting the same emotion of the party or highlighting the emotion of the party and replying or restating is reflecting. You may ask, so what is the difference between restating and reflecting? Both look same. Please note, restating is the entire concise statement of the statement. There is no thrust to emotion or anger separately, exclusively. Whereas in a reflecting, it could be done in a joint session, it could be done in a private session, when the party is more confident, more free, more relaxed, he would be making certain statements about his anxieties, fears which he is having in mind, or various other feelings. And he would be requiring an acknowledgement from the mediator. Mediator also is required to give an acknowledgement to the party that he has understood him. He is with him. He is understanding him. He is empathizing with him. But mediator cannot empathize beyond a point because it would lead to sympathy. Sympathy is not acceptable at all in mediation. So how does a mediator empathize? Mediator reflects on certain anxieties, expressions, anger, etc., which are attributed by the party by repeating the same thing in his statement. Suppose a party has said a statement where he says, oh, the present day younger generation, they do not understand us at all. Mediator has to simply repeat the same thing. Mr. A, what you're saying is the present day generation, younger generation, they are not understanding you. That's what you meant. Please note, the expression that the youngsters are not understanding is the highlight for reflecting. So to sum up, paraphrasing, restating, reflecting, all are restatements. It's all communication skills to be employed by the mediator. But in paraphrasing, it's a longer sentence with lesser risk, repeating the same thing. In restating, it is concise statement, completing the entire thing, keeping in mind the entire statement. In reflecting, it is only the emotion. So all are restating with different purposes. This will definitely help the parties in understanding the mediator, and for a moment the parties feel that here is a man who is able to understand me. Here is a man who is able to understand my emotions. Here is a man who is like-minded. This is what is required to build the relationship between the mediator and the party. I think we have understood what is communication and what are the effective techniques which are used through these three ones. We'll go to the one little later. Thank you.